Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News.
Now at 8 o'clock, Lexington police are investigating a shooting this morning after the victim called 911 on his way to the hospital. Plus, a store owner and his family lost some valuable items after a fire ripped through their Madison County warehouse. And the big game between the Cats and the Bulldogs ends in another tough loss. We have these stories and more, plus breaking news as it happens, coming up on WKYT this morning. Good morning to you, and thanks so much for joining us. It is Sunday, November 9th. I'm Whitney Wetzel.
And I'm Mike Linden. A beautiful start to our Sunday so far, certainly living up to its name, that being Sunday. Check out the live sky camera this morning. Not a cloud in the sky. And it looks like that sunrise is just going to continue here this morning, looking to be quite nice. It's just not much going to be blocking it out there this morning. Now, it is still a little chilly out there for you, with most temperatures right near that freezing mark, but just above it in the mid to high 30s. But coming up in just a few minutes, I'll break down what else we expect to find here on this Sunday as the mild air rolls in, at least for the next few days. But big changes arrive by Veterans Day. I'll show you what I mean coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Mike, thanks. New this morning, Lexington police say a man drove himself to the hospital. He was on his way when he called 911 to report that he had been shot. WKYT's Mark Barber is at the intersection where police found that man. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Whitney. Police say the man had been shot in the arm and was driving to the hospital when investigators stopped him to help him here at Bryan Avenue and New Circle Road. Now, officers say around 1:30 this morning, two masked men came up to the man in his backyard and shot him. We're told the man called 911, saying he had been shot on Mirror Hill Drive and was taking himself to the hospital. Officers say when they met him on New Circle Road, they gave him medical treatment and then sent him on to UK Hospital. Investigators tell us they are still trying to figure out what led to the shooting, but they say the man was driving himself to the VA hospital, so he may be a veteran. Now, investigators tell us they found bullet casings at the man's home, but they are still looking for the shooters. At this time, police say they do not have a description of the two masked men. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Mark, thank you. Owners of a Madison County business that was badly damaged in a fire have lost some of their most valuable possessions. The fire damaged goods inside a furniture warehouse on Berea Road in Richmond yesterday afternoon. WKYT's Garrett Weimer talked to the store's owners who are trying to clean up what's left.
Here at Midway Old Kentucky Furniture, that fire broke out in the warehouse, which is actually right beside the furniture store here behind me. The store owner tells me he had a lot of new inventory as well as some of his own antiques inside, and a lot of that has been lost. Berea Road was closed for about 2 hours as firefighters battled the blaze and utility workers shut down power lines melted by the fire. Quite the scene for those who live in the area.
He said there was a small smoke coming from the building, and then the smoke got bigger, and then the next thing we knew, this had happened.
Store owner Kenny Isaacs and his family spent the afternoon cleaning up the warehouse and unloading what they could salvage. A lot of what was in here is destroyed, but it's not all gone forever. Isaac's father says he spent 2 full years rebuilding this 1926 Model T Ford with original parts. And even though it's ruined now, he says he plans to rebuild it again. The store owner told me he doesn't yet know how much of an impact those losses in the warehouse will have on his business here. In Madison County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Firefighters say a space heater was plugged in near where they believe that fire started, but the official cause has not yet been determined. New this morning, Franklin County officials have issued a golden alert overnight. Investigators say 55-year-old Joe Frank Hunt was last seen around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. They say Hunt suffers from a medical condition and needs to be located as soon as possible. He's described as being around 6 feet tall, weighing 250 pounds. Now, the picture you see here is the most recent one that his family could provide, but investigators say he currently has a short beard and gray ear-length hair. If you have any information, call Frankfort Police. On the anniversary of his death, a Pulaski County family is preparing to remember their son. It was 5 years ago today that 21-year-old Kevin Price disappeared. Price never came home from work on November 9th, 2009. Police found his burned truck near his workplace just north of Somerset. Weeks later, they found his burned remains in eastern Pulaski County. Investigators still don't know who is responsible for his death. Family members say his memory will always live on.
A lot of times when I'm just doing my daily cleaning, dusting, whatever, and I pick up his picture, I give him a kiss.
A detective with the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office says they have persons of interest, but not enough evidence to make any arrests. Laurel County Sheriff's deputies arrested 6 people as part of an ongoing drug investigation. Those 6 people are charged with engaging in organized crime and trafficking a controlled substance. One suspect was also charged with identity theft after giving authorities another man's ID and social security number. Deputies tell us they found crystal meth, small plastic bags, and a handgun. Thanks to tips to police, authorities say they were able to find 2 missing Madison County inmates. State police say the men escaped around 9 o'clock Friday night. Investigators tracked them down to a home near a senior living center on Price Road in Lexington. Police say it was citizen tips that gave them a lead on those inmates' whereabouts. They arrested 20-year-old Raheem Hill and 24-year-old Marcel Sellers around 1:45 Saturday morning. People who live in the area are now concerned about the safety in their neighborhood.
I see them kids walking home from school. No telling what can happen to those kids.
The 2 men are charged with theft by unlawful taking. State police say that's because they got rid of their jail jumpsuits. We're told they're also charged with criminal mischief for destroying their handcuffs. A horse had to be rescued at a Lexington farm after she got trapped in a sinkhole. Fire crews tell us a mare got loose at Woods Edge Farms on Old Richmond Road yesterday morning. She ran through a fence and then fell into that hole. Rescuers say the mare's back feet were 10 feet deep in the hole. She had to be pretty scared because only her head and neck were above ground.
She was in shock and distress. They had a vet that showed up, helped sedate the animal. And after they sedated the mare, she calmed down enough that we were able to get slings around her and basically use a tractor to lift her up out of the hole.
Crews spent about 3 hours trying to rescue that mare. They say she does have a few cuts and bruises. Vets took her to an animal hospital to check for any further injuries. Asbury University students are now helping one of their own. Proceeds from the Walking in Faith Fall Festival benefited Sean Carlstead, and an Asbury alum who recently suffered a serious medical condition. Doctors had to amputate both of her legs from the knees down, as well as one hand and all of the fingers on her other hand. Funds raised yesterday will go to help Carlstead pay her mounting medical bills.
So we're here today for Sean, not only because she's an Asbury alum, but she's an integral part of the Jessamine County community. We're so excited to be able to support her here today. She's a teacher that has won numerous awards for her teaching in the past couple of years with her second graders, and the community, both in Nicholasville and Wilmore, absolutely loves her. There really are.
Carlstead's GoFundMe page has raised over $10,000.